We have synthesized light in the laboratory. We have tamed the fire of heavy metals, but today we are returning to the source. Before chemistry, there was the earth. Welcome back to the Pigment Lab. In part 1 of our 4th episode, we are unearthing the oldest colors known to humanity, the Earth Yellows. We will explore the ancient, granulating dust of ochre and the creamy, toxic history of Naples Yellow. It's time to step out of the lab and dig into the past. Let's begin. The dust of gods, legends and origins. Over 40,000 years ago, humanity's first artists had no laboratories. They gathered lumps of soft, iron-rich clay, ground them with stones, and mixed them with water, saliva or animal fat to leave their handprints on the walls of the Lascaux and Altamira caves. In many ancient cultures, ochre held a sacred meaning. Indigenous Australians, where the oldest traces of ochre use are found, believed this pigment was the solidified blood of ancestral creators who walked the earth during the dream time. To paint with ochre meant to literally touch a divine, life-giving force. The antique monopoly, Attic gold. In ancient Greece and Rome, yellow ochre became a strategic material. The finest in the world was considered to be Attic ochre, accidentally discovered in the silver mines of Laurion near Athens. Legend has it that this yellow pigment was so pure and vibrant that Athens made it a monopolized state treasure. The ancient Roman historian Pliny the Elder wrote that no great artist could create a masterpiece without this specific ochre. It was heavily guarded and cost a fortune, even though in essence it was just dirt. Renaissance alchemy, the art of levigation. To transform raw earth from a quarry into paint for the great masters, medieval apprentices used a process called levigation. Chunks of earth were smashed with hammers, thrown into large vats of water and stirred relentlessly. The heavy, useless impurities like stones, sand and quartz sank to the bottom. Meanwhile, the finest, lightest yellow dust remained floating on the surface. This golden water was carefully poured into another vat, left to settle, dried in the sun, and then ground for hours on marble slabs with oil or gum arabic. Masters of the earth, Rembrandt and Vermeer. It was this purified, yet still heavy earth pigment that became the foundation for the geniuses of the Baroque era. Rembrandt van Rijn bought yellow ochre by the kilogram. It was one of the cheapest and most stable pigments available. He applied it in thick, heavy impasto layers, creating that signature, weighty golden glow piercing through the pitch-black darkness of his portraits. For Rembrandt, ochre was not just a colour, it was a sculptural material used to mould light. Johannes Vermeer used yellow ochre in his underpaintings, and to capture the soft, natural sunlight falling on interior walls, as seen in his masterpiece, The Milkmaid. The modern laboratory, cloning rust PY43 versus PY42. Today, the path of ochre has split into 2 branches, natural and synthetic. Natural ochre, PY43. This is still mined the traditional way, for instance in the famous quarries of Roussillon in France. The earth is dug up by excavators, washed with water, modern levigation, and dried. It retains the character of ancient earth. Its microparticles vary in size, which is why it produces a beautiful organic granulation in watercolor. Synthetic ochre, PY42 Mars Yellow. At the end of the 18th century, chemists learned how to create earth without quarries or mines. Using iron salts in laboratory reactors, they literally grow pure yellow rust. This pigment was named after the Roman god of war, Mars, due to the iron. Synthetic ochre is absolutely sterile. It contains not a single grain of quartz. So in watercolor, it behaves obediently, leaving no brutal sediment and flowing smoothly like liquid gold. Today, when an artist loads ochre onto a wet brush, they make a choice: to work with a purified clone from a modern lab, or to touch the exact same ancient earth that Rembrandt used to sculpt his light, and our ancestors used to leave their mark on history. Naples Yellow Light and Naples Rose, the deadly cream of the old masters. If ochre is raw, unyielding nature, Naples Yellow is a sophisticated, deadly alchemy. Genuine Naples Yellow, known historically as Giallo di Napoli, was one of the earliest synthetic pigments in existence. There was a lot of mystification and legend surrounding this pigment. The most common legend said it was harvested directly from the sulfurous volcanic slopes of Mount Vesuvius. In reality, it was a lead antimonate, roasted in kilns. It was a highly toxic heavy metal, yet the old masters were absolutely obsessed with it. Painters like Peter Paul Rubens and Johannes Vermeer used this dense, buttery pigment as their ultimate secret weapon. It was the only way to paint the luminous porcelain skin of their muses, or the soft, opaque light of a misty morning sky. So I suggest you immerse yourself in the interesting world of the legends of the Neapolitan yellow. Harvesting on the edge of the abyss. The legend of harvesting Naples Yellow, Giallo di Napoli, on the slopes of Mount Vesuvius is one of the most brilliant cases of industrial espionage and marketing in art history. It was so detailed that entire generations of old masters believed it. Here is exactly how this process was described in 16th to 18th century Europe, and why this fantastic story seemed so convincing. It was imagined that mining this pigment was a job for true daredevils. According to legend, local Neapolitan miners climbed to the very peak of the active volcano, making their way to the so-called fumaroles, dangerous cracks in the crater from which scorching gases escaped. It was said that Neapolitan earth formed only where the hellish flames of the volcano met the cold mountain air. The brave souls had to scrape golden crusts right off the boiling rocks while choking on toxic fumes. This process was mythologized as an epic battle between man and the elements. To obtain the brightest yellow for paintings of divine subjects, one had to literally descend into hell and steal its fire. The perfect visual deception. Why was this blatant fabrication so easily believed? Because Vesuvius actually was covered in a yellow crust. Natural sulfur crystals and yellow volcanic tuff form around the craters. They have a luxurious, warm lemon cream color. For foreign artists or merchants shown a piece of volcanic sulfur brought from Naples, it looked like irrefutable proof. None of the buyers knew that pure sulfur behaves terribly in painting and has absolutely nothing to do with true chemical Naples Yellow, which consisted of heavy metals. The alchemical mafia and protecting the recipe. In reality, the volcano myth was actively and deliberately maintained by the pigment manufacturers themselves, Italian alchemists and apothecaries. The synthesis of lead antimonate, true Naples Yellow, was a complex, dangerous, and incredibly profitable process. If the recipe became known, the Neapolitan monopoly would collapse. Therefore, when foreign painters or competitors asked, "Where do you get this incredible color?" the alchemists would mysteriously point to the smoking mountain outside the window. It was the perfect medieval equivalent of a non-disclosure agreement, NDA. If someone wanted to steal the secret, they were literally sent to chase the wind inside a volcanic crater. The Deception of Old Treatises. This legend was so deeply rooted that even the most authoritative art scholars fell victim to it. Back in the 15th century, the famous Italian painter Cennini wrote in his Il Libro dell'Arte, the craftsman's handbook, about a solid yellow pigment that forms in the rocks around volcanoes and is so solid that it can hardly be ground up. Although he might have meant an entirely different mineral, his authoritative words ultimately legitimized the myth of the volcanic origins of Italy's finest yellow paints. For Renaissance and Baroque artists, this added a cosmic value to the paint. To paint golden light with the solidified breath of Vesuvius was far more poetic and majestic than knowing it was a lethal mixture of lead and antimony, boiled in a dirty city furnace. The curse of the iron palette knife. This fact perfectly highlights the toxic and highly unstable, laboratory, nature of the true Naples Yellow. It is also known that in the 18th and 19th centuries, artists faced a mystical problem. If a master tried to mix fresh Naples paint on their palette using an ordinary iron palette knife, the paint would literally die right before their eyes. Upon contact with iron, the luxurious sunny colour instantly darkened, breaking out into dirty green or black spots. Today we know the chemistry behind this process. The iron violently reacted with the lead and antimony in the paint. But to the painters of the past, it looked like an alchemical curse. To work with Naples Yellow, artists were forced to order special palette knives carved from bone, horn, or ivory, as only these materials wouldn't trigger the destructive chemical reaction. Although Renaissance artists considered this pigment an Italian miracle, due to its name and the Vesuvius myth, they were actually using a recipe that was thousands of years older than Italy itself. Modern spectral analysis has shown that Naples Yellow, lead antimonate, is one of the very first synthetic pigments ever created by humanity. It was invented over 3,500 years ago. This exact toxic chemical compound was used by the masters of ancient Egypt, around 1500 BC, to create yellow glass for the jewelry of the Pharaohs. This very same pigment made the glorious yellow bricks of the Ishtar Gate in ancient Babylon shine. With the fall of these empires, the recipe was completely lost for centuries. It was accidentally rediscovered by Italian glassmakers on the island of Murano, only in the Middle Ages. And from them, this ancient Babylonian secret made its way onto the palettes of European painters, receiving a new name, Giallo di Napoli. Today's Naples Yellow Light and Naples Rose are modern non-toxic miracles. We have replaced the deadly lead but preserved that historic opaque creaminess. When these paints touch water, they don't dissolve into transparent glass, they turn into liquid silk. Because they contain a white base, they allow your watercolor to behave almost like gouache, creating a soft pastel fog that beautifully obscures the darks beneath, making them the absolute perfect foundation for flawless skin tones.
Бачити наскрізь крізь шари, легкість пастелі, подих весни, тихе повітря, сонце згори, чей з води прозорі сни. Папір – це мій океан, де розчиняється давній туман.
Останній промінь в сухій траві.
Yellow Ochre,
Золото пилу.
And with that, we have uncovered the secrets of the ancient earth and the creamy light of Naples. We've seen how ochre brings the raw texture of nature, and how Naples creates the softest vintage glow. But the earth spectrum has another side. It's time to go deeper. In part 2, we are unlocking the warm earths. We will test the deep, historic richness of raw Sienna and experience the glowing, modern alchemy of Quinacridone gold. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the golden hour in the Pigment lab. Keep your brushes wet, and I'll see you next time.
Yellow Ochre,
Золото пилу.